Okay.
Welcome to a live edition of the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me once again is everybody's favorite Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Ignore that. That didn't happen. Nothing.
What
There was nothing happening. We didn't have any trouble. I didn't think we were having trouble, and then it was actually fine, but then screwed it up more, and then had to restart 3 times. That didn't happen.
Of course not. I don't know what you're talking about.
No. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Anyway, what's up, Ian? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. We were in the Discord chat here and just, getting prepped for the show.
Yeah.
And somebody goes, Ian, are you possessed? And I go, no, I'm not possessed. I'm perfectly fine. There's no demon inhabiting my body. I don't know what you're talking about. And a couple of folks joined right as I went into the demon talk. It kind of spooked them a little. And it reminded me of when my dad helped me record my demo reel, which you can find over at bumbleking.com. And because he has tons of experience in radio and stuff.
Right.
And, we're going through, he helped me write the script. He helped me pick the voices. He's going through giving notes, a little faster on this, enunciate more on that, give me another take of this. And then we get to the section of the script where I lap into Dr. Claw. And I just read the copy of, next time, Doctor, next time. And there's silence. And he comes back and he goes, that was creepy as hell.
I mean, you do that voice quite well. You have the...
Here you go. If the Dr. Starline episode goes over well and you want a whole episode of Dr. Claw, donate up to $100 over on the BumbleKast Patreon.
Could you do that?
We'll see how long I can do this.
I don't think you could do that voice for an hour.
Come now, Kyle. I will do it for an hour. My throat will be hamburger, but we will be able to pay our bills.
All right, good, cool.
Yeah, there's no way I could do that. Anyway.
yeah, that's not a thing.
All that aside, the Dr. Starlight episode, the cutoff for Q&A question submission is on the 31st, this upcoming Monday. We already have a metric ton of questions, so if you want to have your shot, now's your chance. For this show, same as always, submit your questions over into the chat. Thank you to Jen for moderating all that. And if you want to get priority, send us a super chat of pretty much any denomination. We appreciate the support. This kind of windfall at the end of the month really helps us out. So just ask your questions, and for the next couple hours, I'm going to get through them as fast as I can. We'll probably go a little over since I wasted so much time here at the start with my shenanigans.
How dare you waste less than 5 minutes?
People don't want to hear me talk; they want to hear me answer. So let's do it. Let's do the thing.
Alrighty, here we go. We're getting started. We're jumping right on in here with Jeffrey St. John. How? And that's not the real Jeffrey, I hope. Maybe. We'll find out. Let me know. How did you and others feel when the Archie Sonic comics were canceled? Was it infuriating to find out that all the hard work on the upcoming releases would never hit the shelves?
It was demoralizing, especially since we got the call like right before Christmas.
Yeah, it was really heartbreaking at the time. Yeah.
It was actually, I talked to the editor at the time, then, who had just, given me an end of the year call, how excited he was. We were coming up on our 2 milestone issues. It was going to be, we really work well together. We're looking forward to the next year. And like an hour later, he calls back and it's like, well, and it was kind of terrifying too, because, the Sonic books were my career at that point. I didn't have anything else, small odd jobs here and there, but that was it.
Right.
I had nothing to fall back on. So there was a bit of panic, and, just try to keep my ear to the ground on where the license would go from there. hope I could seize on an opportunity to maybe get my foot in the door, bring who I could with me. Hey there, thanks for picking me back up. There's a whole bunch of talented people who know how to do this book. Let me give you their contact info. I know they want work. So it was not a good time. It was not a Merry Christmas.
No. I was there, and it was touch and go for a bit. I was definitely concerned. I was disappointed, especially because coming up on 2 milestones. But then I was like, "You gonna be all right, dude?" And we powered through it. We powered through it, but you powered through it. But it was definitely an interesting time.
It was, and yeah, losing the continuity again was hard, especially how much effort Ali and I had put into crafting something relatable but new.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't quite as bad as the first reboot, since that was the stuff I grew up on.
Yeah,
that was my childhood, and I had the privilege to contribute at.
Yeah.
And to lose all that hurt especially hard.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, let's get into this next one here real quick from Dove. Let's see. Headless Horseman, Chupacabra, or Slenderman? Which cryptid / monster would make the best pal for couch co-op gaming?
Maybe Headless Horseman, since he's kind of known for his headshots.
Oh, I don't know. He can't see. Is that? I guess.
Well, the whole thing is he takes people's heads trying to find his own, right?
That's right. Yeah, I guess so. Well, he's gonna take yours eventually, probably.
Well, that's why we're co-op couch gaming, to distract him.
Oh, right. Okay.
Slenderman, I don't know. Does Slenderman do anything aside from be creepy?
No.
And Chupacabra is just going to be a little weird.
Chupacabra's
the cats.
Chupacabra's a dog. I don't know if it has the thumb dexterity to handle a controller. So yeah, I guess Headless Horseman would be the best one. So, but he's got to keep him distracted before he slices your head off to see if it's his or not.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird. Why he would slice heads off when they're attached to somebody. Obviously, they're not yours, dude.
Well, clearly he's lost his head. He's not thinking clearly.
That's a good point. It's a good
If
point.
he had a good head on his shoulders, he wouldn't be doing this.
It's true. You're right. Well, yeah, you're right. I can't argue with that. Here's a super chat question from Speed Tunes. Thank you very much. Wow, that's very generous.
Thank you.
Let's see. What does Tangle like doing in her spare time? Does she have any hobbies?
Oh yeah, she's kind of a general explorer hiker type. Urban exploration, general hiking, just getting out and doing and going to new places and seeing new things.
Wow. That's not unlike what Sonic does. Except he's going around trying to help people. I mean, she is too sometimes, but it's also just exploring.
Like Tangle's different in that she never really went too far from home.
Okay.
She would always, come right back home to be with Jewel and everybody there. Where Sonic is a free spirit who just goes wherever, whenever, for however long.
Mm-hmm.
And her meeting Sonic and kind of getting roped into his world opened up her worldview, which was kind of part of what the Tangle and Whisper miniseries was about, was her branching out beyond just Spiral Hill.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question from Scurvy Pirate Hog.
The vest.
Just for the fun of it, Dr. Eggman and Dr. Wily are turned into roboticized masters. What are their names and powers?
Well, clearly they are Eggman and Wily Man.
Wouldn't it be Eggman? It wouldn't be Eggman Man? I am the Eggman Man.
No, that would be what Sonic would say.
I am the Eggman Man. It's what I am, man.
I imagine Eggman would be something akin to one of the various end bosses that we've seen. Maybe even a hodgepodge of their various abilities. The flying fists, the egg bomb launchers, big stompy attacks, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wily Man, that's kind of hard to say because for all the gizmos that he's done, nothing has been kind of overtly him themed. It's always skulls or something else. It isn't, for all of his egotism, you don't really see Wily themed stuff. You don't get a Wily land, But I guess given the skull motif, maybe Midna, would you please stop bouncing the mic stand around? I don't know if that's coming through. Apologies.
A little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah. She just can't stand the fact that I'm paying attention to something other than her. Get off the mouse pad. Stop it. Stop it.
Wow,
Sit
just like Midna in the game.
So maybe a skull theme with just obnoxious projectile patterns.
Also, Skullman. Wait, Skullman is just a shield, isn't it? I think. I forget
exactly
what his ability is. But
so maybe the Skullman shield that also shoots obnoxious projectiles.
Yes, there we go. That's it. That's the good stuff right there. And we got another super chat question from Edward9909.
Hey, Edward, thank you.
Considering Sonic Frontiers is rumored to be a reboot, are the Sonic IDW comics canon to the original universe? By the way, if you can't answer this, no pressure.
I can't answer anything about Frontiers, but IDW Sonic is written within the framework of the Sonic games.
Okie dokie. And here's another super chat from Testing. Are you allowed to introduce remote civilizations with their own lore that does not in any way define the larger world or impact or define existing lore?
You mean like the way we introduced Meropus in the post reboot?
I would assume something like that, yeah.
I mean, I don't immediately see why not. It's just, it would be a matter of what purpose does that serve? What does it do for the overall narrative? What adventure does Sonic or other character get out of this? And the locations and characters of this new setting, what do they bring to the greater tapestry? Is it an indulgent side story that doesn't have any greater effects? Not really worth the time or effort. Is it something that's going to be used to build a greater understanding of the world and add to things? Then yeah, maybe. Midna.
All right. Let's shift back over into the standard questions from the chat. This one comes to us courtesy of Stephen A. So, Ian and Kyle, what are your favorite parts of the life and times of Scrooge McDuck? How high do you rate it in terms of comics?
How do I rate it? Like, phenomenal. A must read. If you have not read it. Cat, you are being a problem. Just snuggle. Be happy.
No.
Okay.
I refuse.
We're having a show tonight. If you have not read it, read it. It is just glorious. Like, the whole thing is just this fascinating story of Scrooge McDuck from childhood to his more generally recognizable miserly curmudgeon days. And the two scenes in particular that stand out to me, and I don't want to spoil anything because really this is a book you need to experience for yourself, but I think it's when his father is watching them leave the castle and gets reunited with his family, and you understand what is going on. That caught me completely off guard, and I got teary-eyed. It was like, oh wow, that's some powerful stuff. That's a beautiful moment. And then the bit where the one bad guy is Scrooge is chained between the inner workings of this big old steamship, He's surrounded by the bad guys. The leader is reading off a very personal letter to Scrooge. And everyone is mocking him for all these very personal tidbits coming out. And you see where Donald inherits his temper from. It's just that one bit where you see, I don't want to spoil it at all if you've not read it, but if you have read it, just that creak in the background as he's pulling on the chains, and some divine retribution is about to be had. Oh, it's a satisfying moment. No, the whole thing is great. Absolutely gorgeous book, start to finish.
I've not read enough of it. Like, I don't know if I probably read like an issue somewhere or something. I know that the newer DuckTales cartoon pulls a bit of it for its like flashback scenes and stuff, though, which is a lot of fun. So I need to read more of it. I do like me some Scrooge, so I should read it eventually here. Eventually. All right, next question is from Syed C. How would you handle a Sonic and SpiderMan crossover?
Well, I mean, we've got multiverses pretty well established in both.
And it's not... I think tonally they could fit together pretty easily.
Oh, yeah. Brightly colored, highly kinetic heroes that are quippy. Eggman involved with the dimensional shenanigans is kind of a given. Who on Spidey's side is really known for that level of sci-fi nonsense? Maybe Dr. Octopus? Maybe. I'd need to go through Spidey's Rogues Gallery to make sure I had a good set of it. But I imagine it's easier to have kind of a Sonic and crew invade Manhattan thing rather than bring Spidey and the crew over to Mobius or whatever you want to call it.
I'm being told that Dr. Octopus would be good. Yes.
Okay. I mean,
would work for that.
It'd be a great visual, just him and Spidey, tag team dodging the arms as they go around.
Yeah.
Eggman getting inspired and launching the egg octopus,
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Eggman, starts contracting out to the villains in New York and starts upgrading their tech. So you've got Green Goblin on some kind of Valkyrie styled glider. Or what could you do with Mysterio? Like some kind of Toxameister rendition where not only is it the fog, but it's also maybe like a hallucinogenic cloud that's somewhat toxic on top of all of that. Go all whole hog. Have the villains all team up, and
oh yeah,
Spidey and Sonic and the Smack supporting cast all come together, beat people up.
I like it. Here's a question from Alec J. I ask, in Sonic's world, can every lemur stretch their tails, or is Tangle an anomaly?
I'm thinking Tangle's kind of unique. Same way as not every hedgehog is fast as Sonic. Not every fox has two tails and can fly with their butt.
Yes, he flies with his butt. Not with his tails, with his butt. That's important. That's an important distinction that people don't make often. There's a question from Pedanticat. So, Ian, what do you think of the team dynamic of Silver, Honey, and Antoine would be like?
Oh, Lord. The blind leading the blind. Antoine, this kind of depends on which Antoine we're talking about, but for humorous effect, let's go with Sad AM.
Let's go with the most popular interpretation, yes.
The stuffed shirt full of himself. He tries, he means well, but he would try to lead and try to direct things, and Silver would eat it up. He would fall for it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Are you knowing that this one time I am defeating all of Robotnik's Bedikins all by myself? It is true. I did it with the Huya and the Hiya with my carrot top. And my karate. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Karate. There we go. wow, Antoine, you sound amazing. And Honey is just rolling her eyes the entire time. But I mean, she kind of goes along with it because that uniform is pretty snazzy and she really wants to get the design off of that because, man, what she could spin off from that, fantastic stuff. Like, if she could just re-outfit the entire royal line, she'd be along. Things start to get hairy. You know, maybe she's the voice of reason that kind of helps things out, but she's not really a leader type. They're kind of leaderless.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever trouble they get into between Honey and Silver, they're going to wreck it. They'll be fine in the long run. But there are misadventures to be had.
Indeed. Definitely sounds like it. Let's jump back over into a super chat question. This one is from Floating Kites. Thank you.
Thank you.
What is the Archie arc you're most proud of?
Oh. That is a good question.
I mean, my favorite is Champions, but of what you wrote. But
yeah, that one was solid overall. The initial Shadow arc in Universe,
yeah,
I'm kind of proud of, primarily for the Omega and Gamma story because I wanted to tell that for the longest time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and finally got that to work, and that just came together beautifully. So that was good. Treasure Team Tango was fun. That was a nice goofy romp.
mm-hmm.
The Dark Trilogy, as we build it, with the Knuckles arc, the Shadow arc, and then the Knuckles versus Shadow arc over in Universe. That was a nice little come together overall. But if I had to pick like one section of it, it would be Shadowfall, where we introduced Eclipse and all that. That I think was, if I wish we could just like transplant that into IDW canon, you know, just wholesale, just boop, boop. But those are the ones that immediately spring to mind. Like, I saw him.
Oh,
because
you cut out there a little bit.
Okay, so I kind of have a soft spot. Am I coming through good?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. Honorable mention to Darkest Storm because that was a mess. let's not kid ourselves. But the arc itself was meant to kind of reestablish the status quo, to bring closure to so much that had been left lingering before I got on the book. And I can't remember it all off the top of my head now, but I think somebody sat down and counted out there were like 32 plot threads wrapped up in just that arc. All stuff that had been lingering with the previous writers and editors and over the years. And it's like, there's no way to really do that cleanly without just, you know, throwing it all out. So I don't know. I think it's coherent. And it's got this kind of sense of, oh, wow, a lot of stuff is happening, even if you can't quite follow it all. And I don't know. It's got a special place in my heart, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Here's one from Edward9909. Another super chat. Thank you. Could you describe an Archie version of Forces?
Isn't that basically the Archie series?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, Knuckles wouldn't be the leader.
No, but like, okay, so let's break it down. Like, so the whole premise of Forces is Eggman's taken over most of the world, and you've got a small band of heroes fighting back. And there's like one new recruit who finds bravery in their efforts and helps turn the tide. That, you know, the one straw needed to break the camel's back, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Early Archie Sonic, based on Sad I Am, Robotnik has taken over most of the world. You have a small tag team of heroes fighting back. In that regard, Sonic is kind of like the special newbie who is turning the tide because he's just that talented. But I don't know. Let's play it out as, because Forces is kind of like everybody coming together. So maybe even spin it as like maybe that's the premise of season 3, so to speak. You know, Robotnik has been removed from power, but Snively has taken over, and Sally has already begun networking with the other previous Freedom Fighter teams. So now she expands the scope to make it a global effort. And let's get the rookie in there as the season 3 new character. I know I'm kind of mixing. You said Archie Sonic, and we're getting into setting him, so that's not quite right. But I think you get the spirit of what I'm saying here. And yeah, just kind of follow the same general beats. Maybe that's the kind of ticking clock, is that Sonic has gone missing. He went off early by himself, which he was wont to do back in the day, and got himself captured. And so it's the freedom fighters trying to figure out what to do without their main offensive hitter.
Yeah. Just don't. Oh, crap. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, go ahead.
And just off the top of my head, I think, yeah.
Something like that. I think that's pretty cool. Here's a question from Void. Is the Archie super form superior to the game super form?
Debatable, but possibly yes.
Archie Sonic is a bit overpowered to begin with.
Yeah, he kind of does what he needs to do per story.
Yeah.
Whereas Game Sonic, he seems to get some kind of weird offshoot power every other time to introduce a game mechanic, but otherwise he seems to be just stronger Sonic. Whereas Archie Supersonic was like reality bending at certain points. So yeah, probably Archie Sonic.
Yeah. Here's one from Bob. How much stronger is the Ultra form compared to the Super form, with number, if possible? So is this like power level? Is Ultra form over 9,000?
What does the Scouter say about his power level? We don't have any numbers to go off of, but arguably Ultra would be the stronger of the two, because even though Supersonic would be able to weather the elemental summoning that Ultra can do, Ultra's also able to do like full on dimensional rifts, where that seems to be more of a accidental cause of Supersonic throwing his powers around. And Ultrasonic seems to be, I mean, we only saw like 2 real iterations of it, so it's really hard to say. But he also seems to be a little more focused in his efforts, whereas Archie Supersonic is just Sonic in his normal mindset.
Yeah.
So maybe Ultra, you can make the case. It's been a while since I got right down to the minutia of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, even Killer Instinct knows that Ultra is the top.
Yeah.
Ultra! Man, that announcer, Killer Instinct announcer, is incredible. I just gotta say that. There's one from S. Shining. Goku and Vegeta appeared in Sonic's world. What is the team's reactions and interactions with them, including Silver Blaze and Eggman?
They're kind of cool with it. I mean, they've seen humans before. Granted, they're Saiyans, but they look human for all intents and purposes. It kind of depends on the nature of why they've come to this world. If they're hunting down some kind of powerful enemy, in which case Sonic and crew would want to help. But if it's Goku and Vegeta, I'm sorry, the Sonic crew is outclassed. Maybe they get the impetus to hunt down the Chaos Emeralds to help, to ascend to a level where they aren't completely useless, but they would largely be the peanut gallery. I think of the two of them, Blaze would be a little more inclined to tolerate Vegeta, and I'm thinking like current Vegeta, the one who's calmed down and has gotten over himself a bit, but really wants to focus on getting things done, whereas Silver would be completely enwrapped with Goku's "we can do anything" superpower of teamwork, try harder, fight stronger type of thing. And Eggman, I don't know, maybe he's aligning with whatever villainous force has summoned the Saiyans. Maybe he's going to try to find a way to capture them, because goodness, if a Flicky can power a Motobug, imagine what Goku could do inside a Badnik. Except you got to catch him first, and I don't know, maybe you devolve into some Dragon Ball antics where Eggman starts laying out a trail of muffins to get Goku to walk into the prison egg. And then,
now this has just turned into a Sonic Boom episode again.
he locks him in there, and it's like, haha, nothing can break a prison egg, because nothing can stand up to him now.
Right. All right, let's jump back over into the super chat questions with this one from Testing. How is General able to break free of Xena's control to damage his wireless receiver? Also, could humans appear without showing a human civilization? We already know they existed in Central City.
General, how did he break free? Could it be that deep down in all that circuitry, there was a soul, a spirit that longed for freedom and justice? Or was it just something about the wiring messed up and Xena lost control? It is an intentional mystery, because Sega didn't want us to say directly one way or the other.
General's a real boy. Except maybe not.
As for humans showing up right now, I think we've been asked to not feature them, but they're around.
Yeah. Here's one from another super chat from Pedanticat. Thank you. Which Sonic characters do you think love rom-coms?
Amy, to be sure.
Darn, I was going to say that Amy hated rom-coms. That's not believable.
No, she likes the lighthearted ones, not the dramatic rom-coms where the comedy is there to like inject the briefest amount of levity, but everything else is just drama. Mm-hmm. No. She likes the funny ones. The one where it's, the pursuit of love and antics happen. That one's fun. She and Cream will binge watch that together. That's no problem. General's roped into watching it too. He doesn't mind. He doesn't sure why he's there. But then again, Silver kind of likes all forms of media because they didn't have TV, since they didn't have electricity in his time, or clean water. So he just likes absorbing everything.
Nice. And we got a super chat question here from Dove. If you were to quote unquote borrow famous comic origins, Batman, Spider-Man, etc., for Sonic, Shadow, Blaze, and Eggman, who gets which story? Please be detailed.
Sorry, you cut out at the very start. If you were to
quote unquote borrow famous comic origins, Batman, Spider-Man, etc., for Sonic, Shadow, Blaze, and Eggman, who gets which story?
That's oddly specific.
Mm-hmm. Please be detailed.
I mean,
that's what it says.
Shadow's already got the parallels to the Batman origin. Someone.
True.
He loses someone close to him to gun violence and vows revenge. And
the difference is he's okay with murder.
Yeah. And, instead of donning the look of a bat, he aims to blow up the planet until he stops. So, let's see.
This one is not on the list, but Knuckles, he gets Superman's origin.
That's bait. That's bait.
It's a good one.
Spider-Man character gets, superhuman abilities from a radioactive bug bite. I mean, it's not really spider themed, but again, we mentioned this earlier. Sonic has, the bright colors and abilities and the quips. So if you want to just explain that he get his powers from a radioactive, I don't know, small cheetah at a SA2, I don't know, something bites him and boom, he's now got the speed. He's got the speed proportional to a tiny cheetah.
I thought you were gonna say I thought you were going to say Tiny Cheeto.
No,
Sonic ate a Cheeto, and now all of a sudden he's got super speed. It's like, what?
now his quips are dangerously cheesy.
Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah.
Blaze, I don't know if we're going to grab various superheroes. Why not Wonder Woman? Themyscira is a obscure, hard to find island. She comes from a completely different dimension. They're both paragons of virtue and justice with insane levels of power. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty, but they aren't necessarily out to pick a fight.
I think that
and Eggman, I don't know, draw a parallel to Luthor. Bald geniuses bent on world domination because they're right, damn it. And a world full of talking animals with superhuman abilities, you need some kind of check and balance system. So, robots that can counter these horrible mutant creatures that are trying to blow up your planet because their friend is dead, or a burning cat just came out of the sky and is saying she's an emissary from another planet. How do you counter that? Robots.
Always robots. Always robots. All right, super chat question here from Edward9909. In Archie, how do you decide which characters you want to use?
Same as any other thing is, what do we do with the story? Who have we not seen in a while? Who would be fun to interact with? What are some pairings that we haven't seen before? Or what is a long-standing interaction that needs resolution? What is the story, and what players are needed to tell that story?
Okay. Going back to the real question to that question from Dove, she's requesting that you say you have Shadow say I'm Batman.
All right, so who are you? I'm Batman. What? Sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm Batman. That's not really intimidating. I mean, yeah, you're holding me over this chasm, but you don't really seem into it. I'm not here to act for you. I'm just Batman. You're not really a bat, though. Like, where are the wings? Where's you got pointy quills all over. You don't really look like a bat. You kind of look like a bad topiary. I'm dropping you off the building now. That's fair enough. Nice. Anyone else want to ask who I am? No, sir. No, you're Batman. Gotcha. You're Batman. Understood.
That is who he is. It's true.
Very good. Now hold still. I'm going to break all your limbs. Bath. Wham. Bing. Bong. No. I'm Batman.
Me. All right, we got a super chat question here from Testing again. Thank you. Why does the cacophonic conch work differently in IDW than in the games? Eggman didn't need to blow the conch at all times in the cutscenes. I feel as though the rules were changed.
Well, in the cutscenes, he was brandishing it, threatening to blow on it. Like, they knew that if they disobeyed, he would blow on it. It's not that the very presence of it was affecting them. It was the threat of it. It's the same thing as waving a gun around. If I wave a gun around, no, that's not going to hurt you, but you understand that if I point and pull the trigger, it's going to work. So, he's waving the conch around, and they're afraid he's going to blow on it, because then it would work.
All right, and we'll do one last super chat question here for a little bit from Scurry Pirate Hog. In both Sonic Boom and the Sonic X comic, we have Sonic and Eggman swap bodies. What other fun scenarios could you see with other Sonic characters swapping bodies?
One that I'm surprised we haven't seen is Sonic and Tails.
Yeah.
Like, Tails, finally gets to live the life of his idol and, has to learn the hard way just how much control Sonic actually has to exert for someone who seems so flighty. And Sonic, in turn, getting a new appreciation for Tails' abilities as he, gets a handle on it and is able to fly, possibly. And oh my god, this is what swimming is like. Buoyancy, air. Let me be another fun switcheroo. I've got a back pocket pitch for Sonic and Metal Sonic swapping over. What happens if Metal Sonic actually becomes and can talk and emote? How does he actually experience life for someone that is so limited in his emotional capability?
Mm-hmm. Here's a good one. Whisper and Tangle. Would be very funny to see Whisper acting like Tangle.
I would be afraid of putting the Wispawn in Tangle's hands like that, so to speak.
I feel like the Whisper inhabited Tangle would take over. would take the gun with her. Be like, no.
But then you have to imagine
you don't get
Tangle
that.
with surgical precision. Tail power. Like she is just like whipping around to sniper points and not wasting a second. That would be absolutely terrifying. I think we said this at some point, like character fusions, and it's like if we actually got a Wangle combo.
She would be
unstoppable.
Oh yeah, she would be overpowered.
I hate to keep coming back to just swapping with Sonic, but he is kind of the title character, and a lot of the characters are built around him.
Right.
But like a Shadow and Sonic flip over, and Shadow, living the life of Sonic, who is, so gregarious, and everyone is around him and openly friendly and trusting and counting on him. And how does he handle that? And meanwhile, everyone's getting weirded out. Why is Shadow like chilling out with us and being cool? This is weird. I don't know if I like this.
Why is Shadow acting like Sonic and Sonic acting like Shadow?
Look, cannot raise my voice. I want to sound happy. Happy. Got a speed, Keed. This does not sound right. Shadow, we have to swap back. I can't stand this.
All right, here's a question from we can jump back into the regular chat questions here. This one's from MSP169. Could you see a small adventure happening with a duo like Cream and Tangle?
Oh, sure. I mean, Cream's great because she can be the tag along for just about anybody. She's a great sidekick character. And kind of same goes for Tangle when you get down to it. But since Cream is, so respectful and looks up to everybody and looks for guidance in all of them, Tangle would feel obligated to be the big hero and lead the day. And that is always a recipe for disaster. So Cream would have to, maybe step up a little and be the adult in the situation every now and again. But that would be fun. That would be charming, wholesome.
Yes, I like it. Here's a question from Darker. The cat doing things again over there?
Yes, just a moment.
Okay. Cat problems, please stand by.
Thankfully, that water bottle is spill-proof.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Spill-proof is good. All right, here's one from Darker. If Hyper was canon, would Shadow and Silver be able to turn Hyper? With enough sugar, maybe.
Shadow, put down the pixie stick. You can't make me. I am inclined to say no, just to keep Hyper special.
Hyper.
Like there was a note at some point somewhere where Izuka-san said that he didn't want to bring back Hyper just because that introduces the power escalation that has hurt Dragon Ball so much. Not his exact words, but that was the inclination I got. And I agree. It is a slippery slope, but Hyper's so freaking cool. So I feel I would want, if Hyper came back, I would want to see it in a circumstance where it's not readily accessible. Like the Chaos Emeralds are already kind of, well, why didn't they just hunt down the Chaos Emeralds every single time a world-ending threat arises? So Hyper needs to be a very special thing. And to that end, I think it needs to be a Sonic thing. Like only Sonic can do it for whatever reason, just so that we don't have, everybody is turning Hyper now because that's the new standard.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but it would be fun to see other characters go Hyper too.
Oh, sure. The temptation is there. Like, I would like to see a few more supers get into the mix. Super Amy win. Thank you very much. But Hyper, if it comes back, needs to be special.
Someone needs to tell whoever's writing the next Sonic game to put that in.
Someone assumes that would be within the purview of the person doing that.
I know it's not. I know it isn't. But, I'm still going to say it anyway. So there. Here's a question from Raphael C. The Encyclopedia suggests that Sonic CD takes place before Sonic 2. Was this a current decision made by Sega/Sonic team?
Yes. That is the official order of things. Followed up with a hashtag knowing smile.
Honestly, I prefer that. That's always where I've put it in my personal timeline in my head, is like, okay, it's 1, then CD, then 2. I don't know, it just makes sense to me there.
To me, it would make sense to be at the end. You go Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, and then Eggman tries to undo it all by getting the time stones.
I guess.
But that is not how it is, so I'm just going to have to shut up.
I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like it fits better with after 1. Because maybe he's trying to get the time stones to undo what happens in 1. I mean, he can do that. That could work. I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the release timing of it all. It's like Sonic CD was released before. Well, it was released after Sonic 2, but I don't know. It's just a weird timing thing with it. And let's get into this question here from Rez. Would Ultra Sonic be able to beat Enerjack at full strength?
I don't want to get too much into power level comparisons, but I want to say no, just because that makes Enerjack lame. Enerjack's supposed to be a big bad, like a game changer bad, a legendary evil type of bad. Ultrasonic, causes a problem, sure, and maybe Enerjack has to think a little outside the box to deal with some of what Ultra's thrown at him. But nah, I'm thinking Enerjack, like not any specific one Enerjack, but like Enerjack as a concept needs to be stronger than Ultra.
All right, and let's jump back over into these couple of super chat questions we got here. First one is from Sonic Mania 2099. If Archie Sonic continued, who else from Adventures of could be added? Myrna the Merhog? Catella the Hunter?
I didn't have anyone planned, and this is going to kind of fall into Lost Hedgehog Tales, but there was one person who was insistent enough about Catella that it actually got me thinking, how would I do a Catella for the book? And so I had kind of like a back pocket pitch idea for her as a major villain.
I think she could have worked, yeah.
Because we couldn't use Iron Queen anymore, so
yeah.
And there's a distinct lack of female villainy in the franchise.
Uh-huh.
But beyond that, a lot of the adventures of cast were like Saturday Night Live gimmicks or just broad tropes that were not really worth revisiting, in my opinion. But
all right, here's a question from Dr. Hex1488, aka Speedweed. I believe that's Speedweed anyway. Let me know if I'm wrong. And also, thank you for your super chat. We know Ravenbeak. We know he respects power. So who would he end up respecting enough to not kill? Your choice of Metroid or Sonic characters.
he wouldn't kill Sonic. I mean, Sonic would drive him up the bloody wall, but he wouldn't pull the trigger on him until he had to. I mean, that's the thing with Razorbeak is, once you have outlived your potential utility, then you're done. But a lot of the Sonic cast would be viable contenders, I suppose. But Sonic for sure would be the one that kind of makes him go, huh, he could be used for something. Let me go get my tweezers and grab some genetic material off of him.
Yummy.
Creep. As for the Metroid series, I'm not as up to date on that. Like, I can't tell you who most of the hunters were out of Prime Hunters off the top of my head. I know they were trying to build up Silex, I think, but I don't really know anything about him that would say whether or not he would be viable. Dark Samus and I guess the Phazon in general, I could see him maybe wanting to tinker with, but I don't know. Dark Samus, I see him almost writing off as an abomination. Something that is just not right. Like, it's not like he would want to use he doesn't like the X parasite. He's not going to openly want to use them, but he did allow Samus to free them to push Samus to the next level. He would be perfectly fine wiping out the X, but they're there for Samus's sake. So with Dark Samus, I see that as more of this is a distraction. I'm going to eliminate that. But the Phazon might be worth keeping around and seeing if I can infuse that to do horrible, horrible things, because I am a bad man. Bad bird man.
Bad bird man.
Bird man.
Let's hop back over into the questions from the chat. This one here is from Clara V. In Archie, is the Chaos Force a higher dimension, or is it a spiritual place or something similar?
I would have to go back and reread, but I kind of got going from memory, so don't quote me on this. But I seem to remember it was kind of like the Force out of Star Wars, a kind of omnipresent energy field that select few could tap into, and then becoming more in tuned with it allowed you to exist beyond death and potentially access higher levels of consciousness beyond just that field or force. Or so to a degree it is kind of a dimension, but I don't really think of it as like a physical space, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't know if it was that clearly defined. But again, it's been a long time since I read the books.
All right, here's one from Boney Cheese. If Surge and Kit are supposed to be the worst parts of Sonic and Tails, how do you imagine equivalent to Knuckles being like?
Someone obsessive, someone very possessive, someone very self-centered and driven by their own goal to the detriment of everyone else.
Oh, so Starline?
Yeah, pretty much.
Looking forward to having him on the show, It'll be interesting. We'll see how things go.
Yeah, we'll see if I can maintain that voice for 2 hours.
You're not, Ian. Breaking the fourth wall. How dare you?
We haven't started yet.
You're fired. Okay, you're rehired. I can't answer these. Here's a question from Yes. Is Sonic, Shadow, and Silver able to turn super by using the negative energy of the emeralds?
I don't know, because we haven't seen what happens if you only take the negative power. I mean, we saw it in Perfect Chaos, but I don't think we would have seen a golden chaos had he taken the positives. So we haven't really seen a lot of the positive and negative aspects of the energy. I would rather a negative super have a different look to it, maybe different properties. Trot out that dark supersonic that everyone lost their minds over in Sonic X, even though it was on the screen for 3 seconds. Also kind of depends on who would take that power. Like Shadow, I could see tapping into the negative power, no problem. Power is power to him, whatever gets the job done. Sonic, I don't think would do that. He is a positive person by nature. He is never say die. He is just a positive dude. So it would have to be very precise circumstances for him to want to actively tap into the negative. And Silver depends on the story, but I could kind of maybe see that happening if these were dire straits and he had kind of like a crisis of faith type of thing.
Oh, wait, no, not that kind of dire straits. Okay, never mind. That probably went over most people's heads. They're too young.
You tried.
You're too young. Gotta get these color TVs. All right, here's a question from Qatar Station. Hey, Ian, say hello to Brazil. Hello, Brazil.
Hello, Brazil.
Yes. If Sully Acorn was created as Sega's mascot instead of Sonic, how much more successful and different would the series be? The games, comics, cartoons. Is Rally for Sonic a thing? Maybe it's trying to think of something that starts with S.
Save Our Sonic?
I'm just thinking of
Stands for Sonic?
Maybe. Stand for Sonic, yeah.
It's kind of hard to think of it that way since Sonic was very much a product of his time. And, well, Sally was too, let's be honest. But Sally was kind of built in reaction to Sonic, whereas Sonic was built in reaction to the gaming industry at large at the time. So it's kind of because Sally would not necessarily follow the same design concepts as Sonic would. So we're really having to rethink this origin story if she were the basis of stuff. But let's maybe I'm overthinking it.
Maybe
Sally is the center of the franchise, and Sonic is the add-on they made for the cartoon because it's the 90s. Boys won't watch an action cartoon starring a girl. Let's add the cool, snarky punk boy who can do everything because he's super fast. That sounds entirely too plausible. Yeek.
Oh no.
I don't know. I can't say how things would fall out. It would certainly be an interesting alternate take on things. Like the transition to 3D. How is Sally's play style? Does she play like Sonic? Is she more of a thoughtful platformer kind of character? Is it something else entirely? Like I don't know. I think I'm getting lost in my own what ifs here. So I'm just going to say I don't know.
It would be a very, very different franchise, let's say. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Be weird. And we got a question from Yo. When Supersonic and Hyper Knuckles fight, their speed was stated to be incalculable. Was this true or a hyperbole?
I mean, it was
I think it's just a way to write off trying to quantify their actual power levels, right?
Yeah, it's writing in the kind of old school superhero style of comic. It's
Right.
just like, we're not going to think about what that means. We're just going to say, here's this grand thing. Doesn't that sound grand? Well, what does it mean in the context of anything? Shut up. It's grand. Their speed isn't calculable. That's just how fast they are.
Yes, you're not supposed to
Okay.
think. You're not supposed to think about it. This is the Silver Age, damn it. Except it's the 90s. Boy, that was weird. That was a weird time. Let's jump back over into these lovely super chat questions from these lovely people who are sending us super chats. First up, Pedanticat. Ian, if you had the Chaotix team up with Agent Krantz and Agent Stern to solve a case, how do you imagine the dynamic between the two groups? Krantz and SBO are facepalming everywhere.
Well, first you have to get over the initial meeting.
Uh-huh.
And where Krantz would eventually warm up to this idea of, okay, there's talking animal people in this world now. Sure, run with it.
Well, I mean,
Gil would have nothing of it at first. Like, what are you doing there, Krantz? It's a talking alligator. You're taking this like it's a normal thing. It's a talking alligator and some purple thing. I don't even know what it is. Is that a bee? Is he wearing the helmet? Why is he wearing the helmet? Is it his head? I can't tell. Is it eyebrows? Krantz, I'm asking the wrong question. It's a talking freaking alligator over here. But
it's a crocodile, but yes.
But you get Vector and Stern away to themselves for a minute and allow them to be the gumshoes that they are.
Yep.
Gil is everything Vector wants to be. And Gil would respond positively to that because Vector is an actually good detective when you get down to it. So they would become the bestest bros. They would be drinking buddies by the end of it.
I had a feeling that's where it would be going, yeah.
Whereas Krantz would be able to kind of rope in SBO and Charmy on the side, kind of assuming the leader role when need be. And she could have Charmy listen to her for whatever reason. Like, he listens to her every command. He will ignore the others. He'll be a flighty little ditzy bee normally, but when Krantz says something, boom, he's there, and it drives the other two up the wall the entire time.
I like it. That's just what I feel like, though, is you'd have Krantz and SBO just in the background, like, while Vector and Gil are just up there, like, you know, they have literal magnifying glasses and they're looking at the ground. We gotta find the clue.
I tell you what, Vec, nobody appreciates the old school methods anymore. There's a reason why these are tried and true ways of being a good detective. I completely agree there, Gil. Can I call you Gil? Of course, Vec. Can I call you Vec? Of course, Gil.
Wow. I love this.
They have to go back to their own dimension. Gil? Are you crying? No, just something in my eye.
It's good. I want this. Next crossover. Sonic and Mega Man crossover. It'll happen again, dang it.
The sun is setting. Gil's shuffling off into the distance. Team Chaotix. They're detectives. You are on your side. Da, 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 da.
All right. More super chat questions. Sonic Mania 2099 asks, is Cosmo the Cedrian game to the games? I tweeted you a Sonic channel that hints this. I think they meant canon to the games.
I've seen some folks argue this, but I don't think so. One piece of evidence was Sonic Chronicles, and that's not canon. You can't count anything out of Chronicles. So I really don't know what the status of Cosmo is, really.
Yeah. And here's one from System 509. Is it male hedgehogs can only go super a factoid known to the characters in universe?
I don't think so.
Maybe they just can't go super because they haven't tried. That's the
Maybe.
reality of it.
I mean, I think super is still kind of a weird mystical thing, and it's like, okay, Sonic can do it. Oh wow, Shadow can do it too. Neat. Silver can do it. What in the world? But I don't think it's like a known thing.
Well, maybe Amy should try. See what happens. I'm ready for it. Here's one from Scurvy Pirate Hog. How would Starline react if he realized he's in a licensed comic book and thus can't ever permanently replace Eggman?
Well, then he would start working on a way to jump boundaries between dimensions so that he can write his own book.
Yes.
He's not going to take that lying down. He is going to fight fate. It doesn't matter if it's already written. He will find a way around it.
Yes.
Which becomes an extremely disturbing meta context for a story, but
you watch your baggie and Starline might be impaling a knife into it pretty soon.
I don't remember this DOC file. What is this? Who wrote this?
It was me all along.
Well, I did have to adopt glasses recently.
You did? Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Welcome to the
and
club.
my hair's starting to develop a wave.
A wave? A wave of what? A wave of gone? A wave of leaving?
No, a wave is in a shape, Kyle. Come on now.
Well, my hair... Oh, okay, that kind of wave. My hair is developing. It's turning Starline's color. So
Really?
Yeah, I mean, my hair is going to be white here probably within a decade.
Look distinguished.
Like fully white. It's a running thing in the male side of my family. Oh well. Here's another one from Jeffrey St. John. Thank you for your super chat. Haven't you heard of the classic that is Who Killed Captain Alex? Uganda's first action-packed movie?
I have not.
I haven't either, but I do know that there's some very, very interesting and kind of hilarious movies coming out of that have been coming out of Africa for a long time now.
Is it kind of Bollywood-esque in the level of scope?
I'm not really sure. It's kind of like guerrilla style, like on the street shooting more than like actual production values.
Okay.
With very, very over the top, very obvious special effects. It's kind of like it feels like it's kind of like YouTube in that way, actually.
All right.
Like with and just like outrageous stuff happening, and it's great. It's very, very funny. I really appreciate that level of creativity. I think there was one, I forget where it was from, but there was one called 2016. And if you could find it, trailer for it, 2016, it's very funny. It's just got some ridiculous stuff going on. Like if I'm remembering right, it's like suddenly there's just this random guy that suddenly he jumps and then suddenly he rockets off into the sky for no reason. It's just a random dude who just jumps and all of a sudden, boom, he's gone. It's so weird. Yeah. I've not heard of that one though, Jeffrey. Not heard of that one. Here's one from Speedweed. Dark Samus versus Ravenbeak. Granted, he'd see her as an abomination, and I feel like I'll know the answer. But how much mileage would you get out of it?
Like just a straight up fight?
I'm not sure. I think so.
I mean, if we're talking like, well, let's just say Metroid Prime 3 Dark Samus, just as a baseline. versus Ravenbeak. This would be a multi-tiered running battle. There would be a great deal of property destruction. And I am inclined to say that Dark Samus might win, insofar as she is a, arguably more powerful Samus, and Samus ultimately did defeat Ravenbeak. But that's with the, last second survival thing that Samus pulls, not those who haven't beaten Dread yet. So in that regard, maybe Ravenbeak, because he pretty much had Samus dead to rights there until his plan succeeded, unfortunately. It's funnier if you know the ending of Dread. Well, yeah, okay, I retract that. Ravenbeak would snuff out Dark Samus. It would be a long fight. He would not come out unscathed, but I think ultimately he would win.
Cool. All right. We are at about an hour 15 almost, so let's go ahead and get going. There's one from Cat Van Bryan. Due to the similarities, is Uzume Tenoboshi / Kurume and Kokoboshi from Mega Dimension Neptunia 7 related to the Phantom Ruby, if not created it?
I have no idea, sorry.
I don't either.
My only exposure to the Neptunia series is when I worked at GameStop. We had one copy that came packaged with a body pillow, and it sat on the shelf unmoving for like a year. That is all I know about Neptunia.
Yeah. I mean, that's about all I know is seeing it on Steam. Sorry. Next question is from Snooty Boy 55. More super chats. Thank you. How would it battle between Starline and Sally? Would it be like a fight Starline has been in previously in IDW, or would it be a battle of wits? Would Surgeon Kit be involved as well?
Sorry, what was that last bit?
Would Surge and Kit be involved as well?
Yeah, let's do this. It's Starline has been found in he's an Egg Bay Sigma, and Sally knows they need to take him down. Starline has Surgeon Kit on hand, and Sally has Sonic and Tails, just to have this a proper setup. You can't see me gesturing with my hands, but they're gesturing, trust me. It would be kind of like a real-time game of Risk, where Sally and Starline are directing the powerhouses in their maneuvers throughout the base, trying to counter each other. The thing being that as much of a plotter and planner and mastermind as Starline is, he's not a tactician when you get down to it. He puts out a plan and he follows it through, but he's not really the think on your feet and make contingencies type. Sally, however, would be able to roll with each, setback or surprise. So ultimately, they would be making headway. And all of this would be basically cover, because while the main heroes and villains are fighting, she's infiltrating by herself. She is orchestrating the fight on the fly while also infiltrating the base. And then she'd get the jump on Starline in his command center. And then there'd be a bit of kicky punchy stuff. He would have the tech on his side, so it wouldn't be like an easy win. But without his guidance, Sonic and Tails are able to wrap things up. They come in, they turn the tides, bad guys lose.
Nice. There's one we're jumping back over into the chat. Regular chat questions. This one comes to us from Bro. Is the classic Archie continuity canon to Archie? I think they mean modern Archie. Or like post reboot. I don't know.
Consider pre-reboot its own thing in its own bubble.
Or Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe they mean like canon to Archie as in Archie comics, like, Archie, like the guy with the red hair.
I mean, that era of Archie was so soft in terms of continuity, you could probably say yes, and it wouldn't really mess with too much.
It wouldn't matter, no.
Because there was the crossover with Sabrina, and
Uh-huh.
Sabrina does show up in Riverdale, so yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Sure, why not? And we got one here from our good buddy Cypher. It's karaoke night for the villains. What kind of songs would they sing? Eggman, Infinite, Cubot, Norbot, Starline, etc.
Infinite is all screamo death metal. It's actually just the one song he knows, and he keeps the helmet on for extra reverberation.
It's the one song he knows, and it's his own theme song.
Eggman and Starline are both rocking out to rock opera stuff, like hair metal. Orbot is show tunes, and Cubot is like nursery rhyme stuff. Bingo, Old MacDonald Had a Farm, ABC, the classics.
ABC? It like okay, like the actual alphabet song. Like you mean the Jackson 5 song? No, like actual ABC. Yes. And it's
and then Starline finds out that it's the same little star, and he just like blows a fuse. Yep. He can't handle it.
But then he also sings Z as Z, and everybody freaks out because it doesn't rhyme.
Eggman just wipes it off. It's his voice processor faulting up again.
Yep. Yeah, I got him stuck on Canadian.
I don't know what you're talking about.
A boot. It's more like a boat, but whatever. Was that it? Did you get them all? Yeah, I think you got them all. Good enough. Did you do Surgeon Kit?
I did not do Surgeon Kit. Surge is like grungy punk. I'm not talking like pop punk. I'm not talking mainstream punk. I'm talking about like the stuff that you're only going to hear in that one underground venue with like 20 people.
I was going to say,
and you do not want to look at the floor. That kind of punk.
The Surge is like Joan Jett style stuff like that. Yeah, I like it.
Kit is the exact same as Surge because he likes what she likes.
Of course.
He doesn't have an opinion or desires of his own. It's whatever Surge likes.
It's a very, very unhealthy relationship.
The ringing in his ears proves that he cares.
This is getting horrifying. Anyway, let's get on to a different question here from Laba. In the Sonic Encyclopedia, it states everything is canon is a factoid. In what sense factoid is used?
From Aaron Weber of back when he was on the media team for Sega, and a kind of just relax about canon. And this is coming from the guy who has tried to make these puzzle pieces fit for 15 years. There is no perfect cohesion to some of this stuff. Just kind of take it as it is and enjoy it as it is.
Yes. Here's one from Asta K. What level could reach Kit's power?
Sorry?
What level could reach Kit's power? Like, what power? What is Kit's power level?
Obscene. Terrifying.
I can imagine, yes.
Like, we haven't seen Kit be Kit just yet. We've seen him in his ancillary role. And in Imposter Syndrome 2, we saw a hint of what he could do. But no, we haven't seen Kit really let loose.
All right. And here's a question from B17567. This is probably the weirdest question you guys will ever receive, but I need to know who would win, Darth Vader or Zavik? You're not even close, dude. Sorry. Not even close to the weirdest question. This is very tame. In fact, that's very common. It's like asking us who would win in a crossover battle of the ages.
That's not an invitation for people to compete, by the way. I'm not speaking down to you. I'm just saying, no, you're cool, dude. It's all good.
Nope. That's completely fine. That's completely within line, man. You're all fine. So anyway, who would win?
Vader, like, no problem.
I was gonna say pretty easily.
I mean, you Zavik could mess with his life support system with the whole EMP powers, but that's assuming Vader would give him a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're talking force choke, force fling right off a Lost Hex.
Force playing right into the stratosphere.
Yeah, just like, nah.
It's just gone. He's just gone.
Like the Imperial Army invades Lost Hex. They know that there's these monsters that can control robotics. So they've got like special EMP plating on the blasters first thing. I don't know, Vader uses the Force to throw off Zavok's EMP attempt and then proceeds to turn him into sashimi. It is a very one-sided fight.
Yeah, definitely. Here's one from Seals Omniverse. Does each multiverse of Sonic Archie have infinite dimensional layers? Is each universe of Sonic Archie platonic? Does each dimension like each other as a friend?
Like, you're asking, like, does the evil universe have its own multiverse spinning off of that?
I think that might be what they're getting at, yeah.
For the sake of sanity, no. I mean, I get what you mean with the whole, infinite possibilities in terms of the multiverse, and in theory, sure, it should be, but for a narrative scope, good God, no.
Multiverse within a multiverse.
Like evil Sonic, but he wears blue. Evil Sonic, but he leads with his right foot instead of his left foot. No.
But he wears blue? Like his shoes are blue, you mean, or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so just there's the mirror verse, and he's SpiderMan verse, and it's Batman verse, and they're all kaiju for some reason verse. Just the tropey dimensions. We're not getting into every single permutation of that.
Every possible permutation of a universe based on the butterfly effect.
No. No. I don't even have to deal with that continuity anymore. Just no.
It's just multiverses all the way down. Wee.
We are only focusing on the finite curve. Thank you very much.
This is why multiverses are a hard thing to wrap your head around. Because then you start thinking like, what if one thing happened to change everything? And how many different universes are there based on certain things that have happened? And it will... I don't know, man. This is too much. It's too much for our tiny little human minds to comprehend. So, instead of trying to figure that out, let's just answer this question from Metal Skulkbane. What were plans for Skullman? Why Cossack build some Wily-like robot master?
I would have to double check my research, and I now have both the Mega Man and Mega Man X Robot Master and Maverick Guide, thanks to Nadia and David. They are awesome people. Go check out their stuff.
Nice.
I retweet their live streams all the time, so seek them out. Look for Night Train, and that's Night Train spelled with Y's instead of I's, and Axe of the Blood God, which is Nadia's podcast. Check those people out. They're good folks. But I seem to remember Skullman was built under duress once Wily started to hostage. Like, I'm pretty sure that's when Skullman was built. That's not like a Cossack design. That's a Wily influenced Cossack design.
Turns out, but Skullman is cool, man. He's got a great theme song. All right, let's switch over and do some more super chats. This one here from Pedanticat. Thank you again for your super chat donations. How would a Son, Amy, and Wisp-Bangle double date play out?
I feel like we had something like this not too long ago, but
similar, but not exactly.
Sonic is not really the openly romantic type, so he's kind of the third wheel in this 4-wheel scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Tangle and Whisper are, and Whisper's not really the outwardly emotional type anyway, but in a different context. So there's a degree of awkwardness there, but Amy and Tangle are so upbeat about the whole situation that, they're going to roll with it. And maybe Sonic tries to convince Tangle that there's something exciting happening, so they could probably just blow the date and go on an adventure, maybe, and Tangle's tempted, but no. She planned this. Amy planned this, and Whisper kind of helped, and now she's along with it too. But darn it, she's going to stick around. And so I'm like, all right, fine.
This is important.
He'll stay for dessert.
This is important, Sonic.
But otherwise, it's, just a fairly casual hangout and light talk and just hanging out with good friends.
Nice. I like it. Here's another super chat from Newbie Prod. Shadow created to help cure a disease. Why a hedgehog? Why super speed? Why hover shoes? Are these just a result of Black Doom's blood? Other reasons?
I don't know, man. We're talking about like retcons on top of retcons.
Was Shadow born with the shoes?
Like I want to say there's a bit of trivia saying that Gerald gave him the shoes after a point.
Give me the shoes.
Daddy, I want Air Jordans. How about these? Fine.
It's gotta be the shoes.
I want to pump the little basketball. I mean, there's a scene in the flashback in Shadow's game where, Shadow's unconscious in the tube and Black Doom and Gerald are overseeing it, but I'm pretty sure we can just kind of acknowledge that's just they tossed Shadow's game model in there for simplicity's sake. But why Hedgehog? Why everything else? I really don't know. I don't know. Like, there is the popular fan theory that Gerald got it by looking at the mural in Hidden Palace Zone, but from what I've been able to find, that's just pure fanon. There is nothing to base that on. So I don't know. If somebody has like the direct link to something that proves me wrong, by all means, please send it my way.
Nice. And we have another super chat from Sonic Mania 2099. Thank you. I don't remember if this one was answered, but if Sally was to return, do you think Christina V still wants to voice her?
Oh, I would hope so. I mean, ideally, I would want the original SatAM cast, those who are available, to come back to reprise the roles. But, if that wasn't an option, sure, Christina V as Sally would be great.
Yeah. All right, let's jump back over into the standard chat Q&A for a little bit. This one here from Lost Zorro. In the encyclopedia, it states that Black Doom used Chaos Emeralds to transform into Devil Doom. Was that Ian's interpretation or Sega's retcon?
I mean, I'm pretty sure he has them. Like, okay. It's been a long time since I wrote that and did the research, so if there is something that shows that he didn't do it, everybody missed that, but I'm pretty sure he had them like lined up across the top of his head, and then he transforms, and then Shadow transforms afterwards.
All right, here's one from Syed C. What if Sonic, personality mostly the same, was an egg boss or part of the Eggman Empire?
He would be a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, he wouldn't be an effective egg boss.
No.
He would he would delegate very poorly. But when he got in there to fight those pesky freedom fighters, he would be one of the biggest problems they ever had to face.
Oh, yeah. It would be an issue. It'd definitely be an issue. Here's a question from Rosie Mix. What if Beta defeated Gamma in SA1? Do you think he would become Amy's rival in the future?
Now, I'm going to assume we mean the initial fight where Gamma is being tested to see if he's worthy of going on.
I assume.
And in that case, Gamma would have probably been disassembled and rebuilt as one of the bigger, badder versions, like what happened with all the others. And so we're going to assume that means Beta went off to grab Froggy. And would have taken the Chaos Emerald from Birdie without having the moral come around. So Amy would have been left trapped on the egg carrier. And then that would have led to the egg carrier fight between Beta and Sonic. Amy would not have intervened necessarily, and Sonic would have destroyed Beta. And the other E100s would still be at large because nobody took them out.
Alrighty then. Here's a question from Godzilla. If Metal Sonic is Mecha Godzilla, does that make Gemerald Jet Jaguar and Omega Mogira?
Sure. We'll run with that. That's
fine. I'm good with that. And we got a question from our good buddies, Scruffy Bets. He says, hi, Ian. Have you tried Pokemon Arceus Legends yet? Or is it Arceus Legends? I'm not 100% sure.
I think it's Arceus.
Arceus Legends. What are your first impressions? I don't know about you, but I'm having an absolute blast.
It is on my list of things to do, but I have not had the time or the funds to invest in it just yet. Alrighty. I want to. Oh. It looks neat, but I just haven't been able to yet.
And here's one from Hyper Metaru. What if Rouge decided to work for the Eggman Empire after SA2? Would she be a good ally for Eggman? How would Sonic Heroes play out in this scenario?
Rouge would be a vital asset to the Eggman Empire. Like, she could follow Eggman's orders, but not to a blind, stupid degree, and would be quite the asset. You know, infiltrating and gathering info and stealing things from the heroes at the wrong times. In terms of heroes, it probably would have played out fairly similarly, just with some different motivations, because she would know that Neo Metal had taken over and that they would need to stop his plans for the benefit of Eggman. So freeing the original Shadow and de-mothballing Omega so that they can go to town on all of Neo Metal's stuff, that would still pretty much play out the same way.
Yeah. Here's
it would kind of it would make the chaotic story a bit redundant, but
oh well. We can find something else for them to do. Here's a question from Tiago I. Hello, gentlemen. Will we see a better cohesion between Sonic games and comic books? Back in the Archie days, it felt more like Damage Control from a fan in Brazil. Hello, Brazil. Brazil is very dedicated.
Well, they recently got a big win with the translation coming in Frontiers, and I had no hand in that. I mean, I kind of got a lot of attention on Twitter for like a day or two, and I'm glad that they got that win, but I had nothing to do with it, so I make no claims to that one. Congratulations. I'm glad you guys are getting your translation, but I had nothing to do with it. And I've already forgotten the question. Oh, it's kind of hard. We haven't really had a game out, you know? The book started after after Forces, and Frontiers has yet to come out. So we'll just have to see how things play out over the years. I would imagine it would be a better situation given how much more directly involved they are with character creation and story approval. But we'll just have to see how it pans out in the long term.
All right, here's a question from Biostar96. Might be lost at DuckTales, but since the Shadowfall arc in Archie Sonic was originally going to star Black Doom and Mephiles before Sega vetoed it, what exactly was the plot for that? Or was it just the same?
No, it was very different, but it was also fairly bare bones. It was mostly meant to be a vehicle to reintroduce Mephiles in a new way to be a reoccurring villain for Shadow and to nerf his power set a little bit. But kind of the whole thing was just this 90s movie extended grudge match revenge scheme on everybody's part. What we ended up with clips and all that was far superior.
All right. Jump back over into Super Chat questions real quick. This one here is from Newbie Prod. Thank you. Metal seems to be one of Eggman's most reliable and effective creations. Why did he stop at one? An army of Metal Sonics could be effective. I don't know. Maybe it's a law of diminishing returns. Like you get like when you send one ninja, they're like fearsome, but you send a whole bunch of ninjas, and they're just like too many ninjas. They just fall over.
That, and I imagine it's a degree of personal pride. Like Metal Sonic is the antithesis Sonic. He is the thesis that Eggman can build something that can beat Sonic at being Sonic. And by having multiple Metal Sonic, that right there tells you that one is not enough. So he would rather focus on revising and improving the one rather than just win by numbers.
Mm-hmm. And here's a super chat from Pedanticat yet again. Thank you. Who wins in a fight? Sticks the Badger or the Tasmanian Devil? And would Sticks be able to understand Taz's gibberish?
Oh, she absolutely would. Heck, she'd probably speak it back to him.
I figured she would just be able to like translate it, kind of like how Rocket Raccoon does with Groot. Just like
she doesn't really see the necessity, because why can't you understand him? He's speaking perfect Tasmanian Devil.
Oh, okay, good point.
He got it to you too, buddy. I don't know. I imagine it's a bit of a stalemate because all of the traps that she would be able to concoct, he would just tornado through. But she's wily enough that she'd be able to stay out of his reach. So this should be this kind of perpetual running battle until they both just get tired and agree to give up.
Yep.
And then they both go over and destroy Mad Burger in a variety of ways.
Of course. And then everything is good. Everything is fine. Here's a question from Vlad C. Surge is a brainwashed artificial Sonic rival with his speed made by a scientist associated with Eggman. Were you aware of how much you might have accidentally ripped off from Shadow?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Android Saga again.
Yeah, that's like, yes, we know that.
Not working. I mean, Starline emulates Eggman, and you might as well follow the whole Robotnik line.
Apparently, the Brotherhood of the Metallics was also similar.
Yeah. I just didn't want to get into that again because it brings back the memory of me speaking with Nigel Kitching saying, Brotherhood of Metallics was absolutely brilliant. And he's like, oh, it's yours if you want. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could take you up on that offer. But legal shenanigans, I know, would prevent it. But oh my God, the fact that he was just like, oh yeah, I'm not doing anything with it. The book's gone.
Yeah.
Here, have this idea if you want it. It's like, one of the coolest things to ever come out of Sonic the Comic, and just offered on a silver platter.
Here's a question from Shonen Boys. Hey Ian, quick question. Since you've written for these two villains, who do you think is better, Eggman or Dr. Wily? I never played that many Mega Man games, but I really loved the comic.
Better in regards to who is the most effective, or who's the more fun to write, who's the better villain in their own franchise? I mean, in terms of scope and scale, I would argue Eggman is more effective because he can affect things on like a planetary or dimensional level. And Wily is much more like, I guess, global too, but somehow on a smaller scope. Like it feels like whatever he does is not nearly the same level of catastrophe as what Eggman does. On the other hand, all that Eggman does ultimately blows up in his face, and in the long term, we know that it is associated with failure, because what Eggman Nega wants to do is go back in time and rechart history so that the Eggman name is remembered with fear and respect. Whereas with Wily, his involvement in the future of the Mega Man series is long reaching and ultimately leads to world peace. Yeah, the Maverick Virus stuff is a problem, but Zero is kind of central to ultimately steering the world towards peace. So, in that regard, he's more effective in the long run.
Yeah. Oh, I'm being told that we didn't actually answer Vlad C's question. That you ripped off Surge from Shadow? It's like the answer is what? Like maybe?
It wasn't intentional on my part, and if you want to say that, Starline is emulating the entire Robotnik line, not just Eggman.
Sure. All right. Here's a question from Ravioli Sauce. There's a question I've been meaning to ask. What are your thoughts on people shipping themselves with with canon characters? I've seen other creators being upset over the idea.
I mean, whatever floats your boat. I'm not going to gatekeep that sort of thing. If you want to make your OC, Shadow's one true love, fine, go with it. I don't care. Or if you want to imagine yourself as Shadow's living body pillow, okay. If that's what makes you happy, just like acknowledge that this is, something you're doing for your own personal gratification and is not real. Like if you get to the point where you're honestly having trouble getting by day to day because you're not with this fictional character, then you need to seek some help. And I don't mean that in a he's calling people out sort of way. I mean, it's an actual form of dissociative disorder, and it's probably on the rise given the way the past 3 years have gone and the attempts to escape how much reality sucks. Like if that's what your kind of like personal fantasy is, okay, cool, that's your thing. But if it's actually affecting your day-to-day life, you need to seek help and step back and take care of yourself. And if you want to put out fan art or fanfic or whatever about this sort of thing, understand that you are putting this out in a public forum. By putting it out there, you are by necessity going to receive critique and feedback. On the other hand, if that is not your thing, if you don't want to see OCs coupled with official stuff, don't look at it. If it shows up in your timeline, mute that person. If that's not your bag, just let them be. Don't get in a tizzy over it. It's not hurting anything.
Don't worry about it. It's just a headcanon. You should really just relax.
Remember, everything is canon.
Maybe you went too far on that. maybe Aaron Weber should dial that one back a little bit. Maybe fanon is not canon. Here's a super chat question from Testing. Once again, thank you. Is Surge being a twisted reflection of Sonic supposed to be a play on her Ashura roots?
Yes. In part.
Among other things. Here's one from Marshall H. Jumping back over into the standards. While the implication is that Gemerald was built from Emerald's parts and that he has them share some traits, how much is actually shared between the two bots?
I don't know, and it drives me crazy. Like, is he Emerald reborn? Is he kind of like the son of Emerald? Is he like a brother? Is he a reinterpretation? What is the distinction? It can't be like a perfect one-to-one because he's more robotic in his presentation, and Emerald was a fully realized individual by the end of battle. But what is it, the exact correlation between the two? I don't know.
So I'm guessing Gemerald would not be, or would be a decent cook, but they wouldn't have good presentation. Unlike Emerald, who has is a great cook with good presentation, because he always kicks it up a notch.
Yeah,
that's his thing.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I didn't know where you were going with that at first, honestly.
Really, I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
I was like, what is this? What is this comparison he's making? And then I got it. And then I got it.
Yeah, I'm nothing if not obvious. All right, here's a question from Kasai T. Rough and Tumble are cool and funny. What do you think they do if they react to their fan base, even if it's smaller than most others?
I think first they'd be surprised that they have a fan base.
Be like, who likes us?
That people pay attention to them in a positive way at all. And they wouldn't necessarily know how to handle that at first. And then they would just revel in it entirely too much. Like, coast on that to all the unhealthy degrees. Try to grift their fan base. Like, is Cafe Press still a thing? They'd be churning out their own merch left, right, and center of just selfies plastered on clocks and socks and whatnot.
And live streaming Q&As on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, ask us anything. All right, here's one from Supersonic 93. When Cosmo returns to the series, games, IDW, or both, will her older sister Galaxina also be spared from her death and join her little sister on her adventures with Sonic? And will the romance between her and Tails still happen?
I have no idea, dude. This is assuming that they come back at all. Like, it could just be Cosmo by herself in a whole new context. It could be a complete rewrite of the Meteoric Saga. It could be that they don't ever come back. I don't know.
Well, at least you've tried. Or will be trying.
There's a lot of things I'm working on right now. It's incremental. We're climbing the mountain fingernail by fingernail.
Yes. Here's a question from the Feral Marshmallow. A question for both of you. If you could voice one Sonic character, who would it be? And don't say Starline, Ian, that's cheating.
I don't know. I'd like to throw my hat in the ring for Rough and Tumble. Yes, I know you said one character, but I kind of count them as a unit.
I mean, they both got similar voices. Probably.
I would also like to give a shot at Big the Cat, but
yeah,
I don't think that'll ever happen.
Yeah, I'd voice Big. I think I could pull off Big. Foggy! Foggy? I need Foggy. Trying to find Foggy. Foggy! Here's one from Levi C. What are Starline's opinions on the Wisps? Does he see the potential of their hyper-go-on energy, or does he have no interest in studying them?
Oh, absolutely. Like, using small animals as a fuel source is one thing. Having creatures that are made out of pure go, sure, plug them into every badnik. They're the gift that keeps on giving.
Go, go, go. Here's a question from the Acquainted Guy. In IDW, if we saw locations from the games like Spagonia, Apotos, I forget how to pronounce that. Apotos, I don't know, something like that.
Whatever sounds more Greek to you.
Sure. would etc. Would the residents be humans like they are in the games, or would they be animals like Sonic?
I'd imagine they'd be human. Maybe there'd be the odd animal in the mix, but they're human settlements, so
They would
be people.
They would be the funky Sonic Unleashed people, right?
I would hope so.
The
I feel like that's what humans in the series should look like.
The cartoony humans. I like it.
I mean, you look at the humans in Unleashed, and Eggman makes sense.
Yes.
You make Eggman fit with the humans of 06, and Eggman looks wrong. So,
well, I mean, to be fair, the humans of 06 also look wrong. I feel bad. Rushed game. All right. Let's see. Here's a question from Pedanticat back over in the Super Chats. Thank you guys, for your amazing generosity. So, Ian, you've talked about what you think would happen with Rock, Light, and Wily before the 100 years jump to X, but what about Roll, Blues, and Bass?
Roll, I imagine, would go with Rock. Like, they're a unit. They are family. They would stick to each other and support each other. Rush would be with them. Blues either needs to come to a resolution and maybe stays behind to look after Light in the end, or he finally meets his end and goes out in heroic bang. One of the two. I'm honestly not sure which way I'd want to go, because I want a happy ending for him, but part of Blues' appeal is he's tragic, so giving him a heartbreaking ending is also kind of fitting. Bass, I don't know, because he exists to be the antithesis to Eggman. He's supposed to be the jerk. Where does he fit overall? You know? And it's kind of toying with the idea, don't say this is Ian's grand plan here, but, you know, he already has shown a distaste for Zero in that one little moment out of the fighting game. What if Zero gets activated in the classic era and Bass is the one to stop him, put him back in the capsule, and so that he shows up all crazy like in X, and that's like Bass's last stand is to be the only one to fight Mega Man, and he manages to stop Zero. I don't know. It's got a certain appeal to it.
All right, we are coming up on the 2-hour mark, Ian. So,
yep. How many Super Chats do we have left?
We have 3 right now, and we have a load of standard questions. Quite a few.
All right, so
we're not getting to everybody today. I'm very sorry about that, but
they go in the queue.
Yep. Hold on to your questions too. Also, you can ask them again next time, or whatever too.
So here's what we're gonna do. No more Super Chats. No more questions in general. We're gonna get to the last 3 Super Chats, and then we'll get through at least 3 more standard questions, and then we'll see how much time we have left coming up to 7:15.
Alrighty. So let's get into this one here. This is a Super Chat question. Thank you very much. From Holly's Wacky World. Which character, aside from Mighty, would spend a day with Ray?
Oh, Amy would. Tails would. Sonic wouldn't mind having him come around as like his buddy for an adventure. Everybody loves Ray. Ray would be with everybody.
Ray is great.
Ray's just a little ray of sunshine.
We like Ray. We stan a flying squirrel around here. Here's another Super Chat from Newbie Prod. If characters like Madonna, Breezy, Honey, and etc. returned, would you want them to be part of classic or modern canon, or a mix of both?
Honey I kind of like as classic, because I actually do like the classic modern divide myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where Madonna or other humans would fit in classic, but then again, classic itself is kind of poorly defined in its scope at the moment. So maybe there's room there. And Breezy, I don't know, maybe say like the 90s cartoons pre-adventure just kind of lump them in with classic. Like that was the classic era. That was what informed the spin-off media. So maybe kind of put all that together. I don't know. Breezy's kind of hard to say because, her reinvention post reboot was so well received. It's kind of hard not to say just transplant that into IDW, but we kind of have Clutch starting to fill that role to a degree. I don't know.
Maybe. Figure something out. Do it, Ian. Make it happen. Make Sega see the light that the old stuff still has value. They must. All right.
Now, I am already fighting tooth and nail just to get the Freedom Fighters acknowledged.
I know. Here's a super chat question from Solara Stain. Thank you. So we got Werehogs and Zombots. What about a vampire style arc?
Maybe the problem with vampires is the whole biting people and drinking blood. And we can't show blood, and biting might actually be too violent for the Sonic book. I mean, the Zombots, all they had to do was like grab you. That's tame. Biting, I don't know. That might be a bit much. And I really don't want to go the route of the old SpiderMan cartoon with like the mouth hands and the plasma and, grabbing onto people. No, that's not so good. If we were going to get into more spooky Halloweeny stuff, I think we should go with ghosts first and foremost, because King Boom Boo is right there. We haven't gotten into the ghost material in a long time. I think that's more appropriate to the series over vampires.
All right.
I'm sure there's a way to do vampires, but that would take considerably more thought. And we've been doing this for 2 hours, and I'm a little fried.
Alrighty. And here's not a question from Newbie Prod. What?
Sorry, just I thought about that alternate costume for Shadow.
Oh.
Where he's dressed as a vampire. We've come full circle. I'm Batman.
There we go. He's literal Batman.
No, you're a vampire. They turn into bats. They are men. Therefore, I am Batman. All right, fine, Shadow. You're whatever. Have some garlic. Blah.
Blah.
I'm sorry. I'm wasting time. Let's get to the standard cues.
It's fine. We do have one more super chat. Thank you to Newbie Prod. This is just the last one here. Not a question. Just listen to the podcast a lot. Wanted to show some love and support. Thank you. Thank you very much. We do very much appreciate that. All right. Let's just burn through as much of the regular chat as we possibly can. Here's this one from Rosemary R. I'm sorry, I pronounced that weird.
It's been 2 hours.
Does Starline think Surgeon Kit are his children? I'm just asking because he created them.
No. Any references to them as children is in this kind of demeaning superiority flex. He does not feel any kinship to them.
No. If anything, they are just his tools to use. They are not. They're basically like not people to him. Essentially, I'm guessing.
Oh, imposter syndrome number 3 is going to drive some people crazy.
All right, here's one from Kanoka Club. It's the grudge match of the century, or at least the next 5 minutes. Ian versus Kyle in a fist fight. Who wins?
Oh, geez.
I don't think we could last 5 minutes. I know I wouldn't.
Couple of swings and then we're just kind of heaving for breath.
I think we're just it's like on the ground. It's falling over. I'm not a fighter.
I mean, I don't have any. I have no technique. I have no form. Most of the schoolyard fights I was in, I just used the fact that I was the bigger dude.
Okay, Kyle, I got your back.
Yeah. I guess Jennifer would take over for me because I would just end up on the ground. But I don't know why. I can't even come up with a reason why we'd be fighting.
You know? Yeah, you're so freaking easygoing, man.
I mean, I got you
Pedantic says charity. A charity fight. Okay.
A charity fight.
Well, in that case, we're just going to turn it into like an extended Three Stooges bit.
Yeah, essentially.
Like we'll open up with like some serious looking MMA nonsense, and that will devolve into slap fighting, and then here come the pies and the seltzer water.
All right. Jennifer says I would win in a fist fight because she'd back me up. Then she'd have to beat Aaliyah.
This is getting ugly real fast.
This is not going well. That's a bit of a one-sided fight at this stage. At this stage currently. Yeah, I would lose, but we'd both lose, I think.
Yeah, it would not be
but hey,
a pretty or elegant match in the slightest.
But hey, the charity would win.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Brutal. It's terrible. I'm just not a fighter, man. I can't do it. Not at least not to you. All right, here's one from Gracie C. Mentality-wise, how old are Surge and Kit? Because they both look around 16 or 8, respectively.
Yeah, they're in the same way that any of the Sonic characters are their respective mentalities.
Mm-hmm.
Surge is a teen and Kit is a child.
They are those ages in Mobian years. Whatever those translate to in real life, it's up to your interpretation. Here's a question from Star Scrambled. When Knuckles hypothetically finally gets off his island, at least in the IDW comics, who do you think you'd be most interested in exploring his dynamic with? Sonic, Tails, etc.
I guess, it depends on the nature of the story and what we get to do with it. I feel like we've explored Sonic and Knuckles enough. We know that they can work together, but they're otherwise kind of oil and water, and that's fun, but we've seen it 100 times. You don't see a lot of Knuckles and Tails. That would be fun.
Yeah.
To see their dynamic. Tails trying to play the not the leader, but the voice of reason. And Knuckles, not disrespecting Tails, but he's going to just do his own thing regardless. I think the more interesting one would be have Knuckles and Rouge on some kind of treasure. Like maybe they start out competitively, circumstances force them to work together, and then it's a question of if and when Rouge is going to double cross him on the way out, type of thing. And really explore what their dynamic is, because we haven't really seen them do much together since like Sonic X or Rivals 2. It's always been within the context of like the team dynamic in a racing game or something.
Sure. We've talked about it before. Mighty and Knuckles, they would be like gym bros.
Oh, sure.
Yep. That'd be a good one.
They're going to pump you up.
All right, here's one from
only Mighty is actually wholesome in training, and Knuckles just wants to fight.
Of course. Here's one from Renaissance Girl. I was writing for a comic book, TV show, and video game different. How are the experiences similar?
Now let me just specify. I have written for a few games, so I am not speaking about Frontiers specifically. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I've only written for the one cartoon show, so that experience is narrow in scope. But they are similar in a lot of ways, and yet fundamentally different in their executions. Comics are a little more controlled, I guess, because while the editor and the licensors have their say, I'm dictating a lot of the action in the script itself. I have to be very clear in what I want to see happen so that the artist isn't left floundering for direction as they're trying to meet the deadline. I'm not being like overlording. If they have a better way of doing a scene, I defer to their judgment because they're actually drawing the thing. But they need to have that roadmap so that they are able to churn out the pages and they don't have to spend a lot of time stewing over how the blocking is going to work out and all that. Television and video games are a much larger and more complex thing, and they have other directors and animators involved. So the script is there, but it is up to them to decide on the execution. So it's largely out of my hands. In the case of Sonic Boom, like some of it was just, rewritten by the showrunners after I submitted it because they had a better gag or something worked better in their way. And because that was the first time I had written for television, I'm sure I did something somewhere that just was too comic booky and didn't quite work for how a storyboarder would go about it. It's less about being exact and down to the fine details and more about presenting the vision and direction for others to build off of.
Right.
And games are also very much a different beast because you have the kind of text and story that's going to be presented in game, the kind that's going to be presented in cutscene. What is the budget for the cutscene itself? Is it going to be voiced? Is it going to be actually animated? Is it going to be still frames? Do you have a limited number of portraits that are going to be able to present this sort of thing? It's a lot more built around knowing your assets beforehand. Whereas with comics, you kind of just leave it up to the talent and the ability of the artist and the art team.
All right, here's a question from Pixos. I remember some podcasts ago you mentioned you had to exclude a game in the encyclopedia due to legal issues. Are you able to shed some light on that now that the book is out?
That was the...
Yeah.
What was it called? Sonic
Pocket
Adventure?
Yeah, I can answer this one. It's Sonic Pocket Adventure, yeah. Which is a shame because I love that game. It's a very fun little handheld 8-bit style adventure. It's a little weird because it's Sonic 2 style levels with Sonic 3's music, but it's kind of neat that way too. It's like this weird mashup, and also has a pretty decent way of transitioning from classic to modern. So it's pretty cool things.
And like it was going to get a whole page, and the first round of notes came back. It's like, yep, we can't even mention it. We can't even put it in the timeline.
Ooh.
Just it some kind of rights thing.
Weird. Weird that it. The SNK shares the rights. It's weird. Here's one from Brett S. Just saw Mega Man was up on digital stores again with Penguin House as publisher. Does this mean anything at all for the possibility of a revival? Will we see crossovers or later arcs?
It is?
I don't know. I think it's supposed to be, but it's not yet or something.
Huh. Like, we're talking like the old Archie stuff?
The Archie books, yeah. I'm looking it up because this is news to me.
Yeah, if it means something, I don't know what, because I am not in that loop.
Yeah. That is very
that
weird.
would be cool since like Volume 2 is super rare and ludicrously expensive, so if folks can get it again, that'd be neat.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I don't know. All right, here's a question from Emerald Forgotten. Which of Makawa's stories did you enjoy the most from the Sonic games?
I can't remember which ones they wrote off the top of my head. Like I know Venture 1 and 2, but
yeah. Was Heroes one or maybe not?
I don't know.
I don't think Heroes is the one that would be the top one.
No, considering all the intricacies and all that it introduces and setting the stage for what 3D Sonic is and all that, I think Adventure is probably the top one.
Well, looks like he didn't write Adventure 1.
Oh, really? Okay.
And
could have sworn.
Adventure 2, Heroes, script for Sonic 06, and then uncredited story writer for Sonic and the Black Knight.
Okay, Sonic and the Black Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was stupendous.
That's probably one of the better stories in the franchise. As far as
one of the best written, one of the best localized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Black Knight, easy.
Yep, uncredited story writer. Yep. Looks like he did some storyboarding, some storyboards and story plotting for Zero Gravity, and was the game designer on Secret Rings. So he did work on Sonic Adventure, but he didn't write it, as far as I can tell.
Okay.
So, interesting. So, yeah, definitely Black Knight of those. And speaking of Black Knight, here's a question from S Studios Alex. Why don't you use these Sonic Black Knight characters to promote Sonic Force's speed battle? They are being added over time.
Because we haven't been asked to cross-promote. And because the storybook universe is its own thing, and that story is good, I don't think we'll be going back to that anytime soon.
Yeah. And here's a question from Gracie C. Is Kitsunami capable of bloodbending?
No.
Oh boy, it would be he'd be even more monstrous if he could. I'm a little scared. Here's a question from Sam S. Is Tangle's real name Dr. Amethyst Armstrong, MD?
No, it's Tangle.
I don't know. This sounds like a reference, but I'm not 100% sure.
And it is lost on me.
Yep. Me too, because who is... I don't know who that is. Nope, it's not coming up with anything. I don't know who that is. Nope, no idea. Next question is from Certified Nobody. Can the Sonic characters wear and use their upgrades from the adventure games? I've always felt that they made the characters seem more interesting, mainly Sonic and Knuckles.
Potentially if the story could call for it, but I think overall Sega would prefer that we not do that and keep with their standard recognizable designs.
Yeah.
I think we had time for one more.
I think Sam might have been referring to Stretch Armstrong or something. Because she has the stretchy tail.
Maybe. I don't know.
Might be. Here's a question from Green Will. Which member of the Glitch Trio is your favorite? And do you think you could see them in any Sonic game, like what happened with Tingle and Whisper?
Oh, I can't choose one. I love them all.
They're all your children, yes.
Surge would definitely be the easiest to translate into gameplay.
Yeah.
Starline, I see as more of a boss character, a story character. Kit as well. But Kit is designed to be kind of congruent to Tails' moveset to a degree. So he could potentially be playable.
I feel like Kit would be like a like the penultimate boss, you know? Or maybe
Kit would have to have, if Kit were playable, there would have to be like a mode switch, almost Unleashed styled, where there's a Tails styled gameplay, and then there is the horde artificial chaos tentacle beast mode switch over.
Yeah.
Whereas Surge is just, your classic Sonic Shadow style gameplay.
Of course. With electricity.
Maybe Starline in a Sonic Heroes-esque, more thoughtful platformer, so that you have time to switch between abilities to decide which is the best tool to use to get through a stage.
Maybe not exactly like Heroes. Maybe not like flat, wide open stages with over giant pits. Maybe not that.
And controls that work, but yeah, in general, in principle.
I understand what you mean. I'm just saying, not exactly like Heroes. Let's not go too crazy. Let's not regret too much.
Speaking of going crazy,
yep,
we've done our 2-hour mark.
More
plus
than
a little bit.
Yep.
So thank you for joining Cast live here at the end of the month. Thank you for all the super chats and support. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This episode will be going up on Monday as the normal update, and then we are going to have a special patron guest for the Wednesday episode.
Yep.
To start off your February.
Yep.
So
sorry about it. Sorry about some of the glitches on Ian's end, guys. I tried to get him to repeat when I could, but it's kind of, it's kind of just the thing with doing stuff over the internet, So
yeah.
Thanks for bearing with us.
Thank you to Jen for moderating, as always.
Of course. Yes, thanks to her.
Thank you, Kyle, for co-hosting.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
And thank you all again for joining us and listening and supporting the show. So be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time for more BumbleKast.
Yep. See you guys later. Sorry we didn't get to answer a question from everybody, but there were so many of you. So many. Thank you. Bye. See you next time.